We're Jack and Katy. We moved to Australia about 2.5 years ago, mid-2018 from the UK. We moved to Brisbane and we lived in a unit for a few years, and then we decided to build a house.
Had a little baby in the meantime, started looking for areas to build when I was pregnant and settled on Moggle. So yeah, here we are.
So we came across Buildi through our mortgage broker, and so they knew that we were looking at building, we were looking for land, and then they put us in touch with Buildi, and we didn't know anything about building houses, or you know, it was the first time we'd ever been to a mortgage broker even, so we were going into it quite blind, and then they put us in touch with Buildi and said you should give Nelvin a call. The problem was just that we needed to find some land, and then we needed to know about how to go about building a house as well.
Yeah.
So it was the whole thing that we needed some advice and guidance on. The good thing was the help of the due diligence to begin with as well, buying the land. So it wasn't just the house build, it was the land, buying the land as well.
Yeah, it's just quite a daunting process for somebody who's never owned a home before, you know, to go into building a home. So Nelvin really was great with that due diligence and helping us foresee some potential problems that we might have had with the plot of land, so that we went in fully prepared.
We had the initial meeting with Nelvin, and then he was very responsive at getting back to us quickly, and then he just explained things in a very clear and professional way.
Yeah.
And it wasn't he wasn't sort of like over-promising things or saying things that were unrealistic to try and get like our business. And it was the idea that Buildi would work for us rather than working for the big builders, which really sort of swung it. Just the approachability of Nelvin and the ease of communication, and just the consistent contact all the way through. It's a huge investment, and it's a huge thing that you don't do, you know, every day. So to have that support of a professional who knows the industry and knows what to do and what common pitfalls to avoid was a really big one. I think we've had some meetings with builders as well, and you just get the idea that they're trying to sell you stuff and that they're not being sort of completely truthful, or that they're being a bit disingenuous with things sometimes. So to have someone who could cut through that as well is another really big reason, I think, for using a building broker. I
also found it quite overwhelming when I went to all of the builders' showrooms, and it was, you know, you get $60,000 worth of inclusions, and comparing those things that were included from different builders was quite like difficult for me. So the fact that Nelvin, you know, went away and did all that hard work, you know, comparing what's included for which builder and what's not, that really helped me to just look at the piece of paper with 3 builders on. And I think we had to tick boxes to show what was included and what wasn't. That just simplified a complicated process.
And one of the big things we were worried about was hidden costs that come up. So like if you go with a big builder, there's always things like they'll try and sell you deals and offers, but like you don't know if it's actually what it says it is. So we had a budget, and then, you know, we stuck to the budget, so that was really important as well. So we didn't like go way above what we were expecting to spend. Yeah, we had lists of things that we wanted, and then some things that were negotiable and some things that were non-negotiable. So we met with Nelvin a few times to go through that. He took all the information down really clearly, and then came back to us with 3 options. So all of the options were at different price brackets, and they all would have met our brief. And then we chose one of them. We went with the one that we immediately sounded best to us. But then a big thing for us was, for example, lots of natural light. So that was like really what the whole focus was on, getting a house, getting a builder that could deliver that for us. And then the result of the house is very much that. So
I think everything on the brief has been met. I think that was really important for us, that some of the things were met, but we've ended up with a house that fits the brief completely. There
was a couple of times where because our builder, there was quite a lot of changes of the person we were dealing with, so somebody went off sick. somebody went off maternity leave, and then we were dealing with another person directly. And also there was like 3 or 4 different project managers over that time as well. No fault of the builder, but that was just, it meant that some things got missed, or we were a bit worried that like things weren't being followed up by the right person. So when that happened, Nelvin was copied into all emails and everything, so he was like always part of the process. And then he had access to the managing director, so if we felt like it needed to be escalated to that level, which I think it did once, then we got an immediate answer. So like we had access to that person who could sort things out straight away. It makes no sense to not use a building broker, and specifically Buildi, just because of how professional and how easy and that we got the outcome that we wanted with the house, which is as I said, it's just such a huge investment, and it's something that you worry about spending that amount of money. So I just think, why wouldn't you take all the steps you can to safeguard that investment, and then to have someone sit down and talk through things with us and help us like crystallise what we do want as well, in all that part of that process, and then to get the end result. So I think we couldn't be more pleased with the outcome of the house.
And for me, it just feels like Nelvin's been on our side throughout the whole process. Not like a salesman in the display homes, and just like an ally, to help us through a difficult process that actually didn't end up being very difficult because of Nelvin.